Northern California, late 1960s. A shadow emerges from the darkness, unleashing terror like nothing seen before. He kills without mercy, sends cryptic letters to taunt the world, and calls himself Zodiac, the most elusive killer in American history. Over 50 years later, his identity remains a chilling mystery. Today, we dive into the twisted mind of the Zodiac Killer. Are you ready? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss the next dark secret we uncover. December 20th, 1968. A lonely road by Lake Herman, Vallejo, California. Icy wind cuts through the barren trees, as if whispering of the horror to come. David Faraday, 17, and Betty Lou Jensen, 16, two innocent teens, sit in an old car, laughing under a pale moon. They have no idea that, in the shadows, a pair of eyes is watching. Then it happens. A dark figure, silent as death itself, steps out of the night. No greeting, no warning, just the click of a gun being cocked. David screams, fumbling for the door to escape, but the first bullet rips through his head, blood splattering across the windshield. Betty bolts out, barefoot and trembling, sprinting into the cold. She cries for help, but her scream is drowned by 5 deafening shots. Bang, 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 bang. 5 bullets tear into her back, blood pooling red across the road. In minutes, silence returns. Only the wind remains, carrying the stench of blood through the air. The police arrive, but it's too late. No footprints, no clear shell casings, no motive. Just 2 bodies growing cold in the night. They wonder, who could be this ruthless? But it's only the beginning. 7 months later, July 4, 1969, the nightmare strikes again, bloodier than ever. At another parking lot in Vallejo, Michael Mageau and Darlene Ferrin chat idly when suddenly, a blinding beam from a flashlight slices through the night. Before they can react, a figure stands before the car, motionless, like a statue carved from shadow. Then the gunfire erupts, bang! 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 Glass shatters, Darlene slumps over the steering wheel, blood pouring from her chest. Michael crawls out, desperate, but a bullet lodges in his neck, dropping him to the ground, groaning in agony. The killer walks away, leaving chaos behind, a declaration of war. Darlene dies on the spot, but Michael survives, just enough to recount the terror. He was tall, dark-clothed, and didn't say a word. 2 attacks, 4 victims, and a killer who leaves no trace. The police scramble, the public panics. But they don't know this is just the opening act, a prelude to a deadly game about to unfold. August 1, 1969. 3 major California newspapers receive something that sends chills down the nation's spine: letters from the killer himself. He doesn't just confess his crimes, he dares the world to catch him. Inside each envelope are trembling lines scratched in black ink, paired with a 408-character cipher. He signs them with a strange symbol, a cross inside a circle. And he calls himself Zodiac. He writes, "I killed them. Solve this cipher, and you'll know who I am." The police reel, the public freezes. Then, a pair of schoolteachers cracks it. The answer isn't a name, it's a deranged confession: killing is more thrilling than hunting animals. I shoot them because they're perfect prey. In the afterlife, they'll be my slaves. He's not just a murderer, he's a monster who feeds on fear. But Zodiac isn't done. September 27, 1969, at Lake Berryessa, the nightmare steps out of the shadows. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard, a young couple, lie by the water, basking in the sun's glint off the lake. Then they hear it, a rustle. A figure emerges from the trees, draped in a long black cloak, hooded, wearing sunglasses. A cross and circle emblem glows on his chest. He says little, just a cold command, "Get down." He binds them with rope, his voice flat as a prayer. "I need money and a car to flee to Mexico." It's a lie. He draws a knife, its steel glinting in the sun, and strikes. Slash. 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 Blood sprays, staining the grass red. Cecilia screams in desperation, but each stab silences her breath. Brian fights back, but collapses in a pool of his own blood. The killer stands over them, watching them writhe, then slips away, a phantom vanishing into the woods. Cecilia dies hours later. Brian survives, haunted forever. He was calm, like it was routine. But Zodiac leaves more than bodies. He carves his symbol onto their car door with a marker, a taunt etched in black, "I was here." Then, October 11, 1969, he strikes in the heart of the city. Paul Stein, a 29-year-old taxi driver, picks up a strange passenger. At a shadowy corner, the man pulls a gun and fires, bang! Straight into Paul's head. Blood splashes the seats, streaks the glass crimson. He tears a piece of Paul's shirt, wipes the blood from his hands, and strides off under the pale streetlights. This time, he leaves fingerprints, but it's just bait for his next move. Days later, a new letter arrives, with that torn, blood-soaked shirt piece inside. He writes, "I am Zodiac. Think this is enough? I'll kill school kids on a bus if you don't obey." He includes another cipher, the 340, turning his game into a national nightmare. The Zodiac Killer didn't just murder, he turned America into his chessboard. Bloody crimes, coded letters, and clues left like taunts, "Catch me if you're smart enough." But over 50 years later, the police remain powerless. Who is he? Dead, or still out there, mocking us? This is the darkest chapter of the case, a mystery with no end in sight. After Paul Stein's murder, the police thought they had a shot. Fingerprints on the taxi, dried blood on the seat, witnesses spotting a bulky man fleeing the scene. They drew a sketch: brown hair, glasses, heavy build. But then, the trail went cold. The prints matched no one in the system. Witnesses contradicted each other. Zodiac was a ghost, appearing, then vanishing, leaving nothing but his deadly letters. He knew it. And he reveled in it. November 8, 1969, a new letter arrives with the 340 cipher, 340 symbols twisted like a mental labyrinth. He writes, "I've killed more than you know. Try to find them." The police call in everyone, cryptographers, military engineers, but no one can crack it. He even sends a diagram, a dripping water map with cryptic coordinates, boasting, "Find this spot, and you'll see bodies." They search, but nothing. He's toying with them, minute by minute. March 1970, another postcard, "I've killed 10. The police are fools." He hints at a bomb, a lethal device buried somewhere, rigged to blow if triggered wrong. Cops scour forests and roads across Northern California, digging up dirt in despair, but find nothing. Zodiac isn't just killing people, he's murdering their hope, one taunt at a time. Then comes the first suspect, Arthur Lee Allen. A former teacher near Vallejo, he owned a watch with a cross and circle logo, Zodiac's signature. In 1971, police raid his home, finding guns, knives, and odd notebooks. A friend testifies, he said hunting people was the ultimate thrill. But the DNA doesn't match. The handwriting's off. Allen smirks during questioning, "You've got the wrong guy." He dies in 1992, taking his secrets to the grave, or maybe just playing the perfect ruse? But Allen's not alone. dozens of suspects emerge. Rick Marshall, a filmmaker in San Francisco with handwriting like Zodiac's. Lawrence Kane, a small-time crook near Stein's murder site. Some even speculate Zodiac's a group, not one man. Each time the police close in, he throws a curveball. In 1971, he writes, "I'm like the weather, untouchable." He turns the investigation into a decades-long game of cat and mouse. He pushes further. March 22, 1970, Kathleen Johns drives with her baby when a strange man forces her to stop. He fakes fixing her car, then lures her into his. For an hour of terror, he drives in circles, muttering, "I'll kill you, but not yet." She escapes, leaping from the moving car. She swears he matches Zodiac's sketch. But the police lose him. Again, he melts away like he never existed. The peak of his defiance hits in 1974. His final letter claims 37 kills and sneers, "You're all useless. I've won." Then, silence. No more letters, no more murders, no trace. The police cling to scraps, retesting fingerprints, checking DNA from envelope stamps. But the tech back then was too crude. He's smoke, dissolving into thin air, leaving hundreds of questions unanswered. Fast forward to 2020 to 51 years later, the 340 cipher is finally solved by amateurs. The words chill to the bone, "I'm not afraid of the gas chamber. You'll never catch me. I am no one." No name, no new leads, just a final boast: Zodiac beat them all. Is he dead? Did he move on? Or is he still alive, old and withered, watching the world through cold eyes, knowing he's the ghost who won? The police lost. The public moved on. But the mystery lingers, a scar that never heals on America's soul. Thousands of hours, hundreds of suspects, endless theories, all leading to nothing. Zodiac isn't just a killer, he's the face of failure, of fear beyond reach. And maybe that's his greatest victory. The Zodiac Killer isn't just a name on a case file, he's a shadow that refuses to fade, a puzzle with missing pieces that haunt us to this day. He didn't just take lives, he stole peace, mocked justice, and turned the hunt for him into a chilling legend. Over 5 decades, investigators chased ghosts, cracked codes, and sifted through lies, yet here we are, still staring into the void, wondering, who was he? A madman with a cipher? A phantom playing God? Or just a man who knew how to vanish, leaving chaos as his legacy? His final letter in 1974 claimed victory, "I've won," and then silence swallowed him whole. Did he die, his secrets buried with him? Did he reinvent himself, living quietly among us? Or is he still out there, an old figure in the shadows, watching documentaries like this with a twisted smirk, knowing he outsmarted the world? We may never know. But one thing's certain, the Zodiac story doesn't end with answers, it ends with questions that claw at your mind long after the screen goes dark. So, what do you think? Was Arthur Lee Allen the mastermind, or just a red herring? Could the real Zodiac still be alive, hiding in plain sight? Maybe you've got a theory of your own, a name, a hunch, a wild guess. Drop it in the comments below. I want to hear every dark thought you've got. And if this tale of blood and mystery hooked you, hit that subscribe button and smack the bell. We've got more unsolved horrors coming your way. Share this with a friend who loves a good shiver, because the Zodiac's shadow stretches far beyond California. Before we go, take a second to imagine, somewhere, sometime, a letter never sent might still sit in a dusty drawer, its ink faded but its secrets alive. Maybe one day, a breakthrough will crack this case wide open, or maybe it'll stay a ghost story forever. Either way, thanks for stepping into the darkness with me. Stay curious, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next video, or the shadows run even deeper.